buried. I hurried to the back door. Sure, I was going to see Japanese Marines waiting on shore, rifles and bayonets at the ready. Instead, what I saw was Stanley's mom on her knees in the backyard, and Stanley desperately trying to pull her to her feet. Ships and trees burned behind them, and as I stood staring, a Zero burst out of the smoke, its guns blazing at something farther inland. Stanley ducked as the plane roared by, but his mom ignored it. What in the Sam Hill? What was Mrs. Summers doing? Mom, stop! Stanley cried. He looked up and saw me. Frank, help me get her out of here. I banged open the screen door and ran for Stanley and his mom. When I got close, I saw that Mrs. Summers was hacking away at the ground with a little garden trowel. She cut a long, shallow trench and was trying to make it deeper, her hands and dress all dirty. What's she doing? I cried. Stanley, we can't be out here. Japanese planes were strafing the water right behind us, and I cowered as a fireball exploded on the West Virginia 2 ships down on Battle Row. I know, Stanley said. He looked up at me with panic in his eye. She won't listen. Mrs. Summers fought Stanley off and slashed at the ground again with all her might. I have to bury it, all of it, she yelled. They can't find it in the house. That's when I saw the small pile of things beside her on the grass. I recognized some of them at once. They were the Japanese heirlooms from the Summers dining room, the framed pictures of Stanley's ancestors, the woodblock prints of Mount Fuji, the family's beloved samurai sword. They were also Japanese books and a stack of letters addressed to Japanese. Mrs. Summers was digging a hole to bury the whole pile. But why? Mom, please stop, Stanley begged. I don't understand. Can't you see? America and Japan are at war, Mrs. Summers said, still digging. And you and me, we look like the people who are dropping the bombs. I suddenly remembered the Japanese pilot Stanley and I had seen flying by and his smiling, waving tail gunner. I remembered the anger I felt at them for destroying everything I loved, the loathing I'd felt. The ball formed in the pit of my stomach, and I took a step back. Mrs. Summers was right. If I'd felt that angry, other people would too. A lot of other people. What? But no, Stanley said, we're Americans. We were born here. You don't understand, Mrs. Summers said, flinging dirt over her shoulder, her eyes frantic. Where we were born, how we were raised, none of that will matter now. I'd never seen an adult so panicked, so frightened, and it scared me. But Stanley was right. Even though Hawaii was a territory and not a state, he and his mom were U.S. citizens, Americans, just like me and all the other transplants at Pearl, just like all the other Pacific Islanders and Native Hawaiians, and the other Japanese Americans who were born here. But my own thoughts had betrayed me. Back on the tarmac, when we'd been with our dads, I thought the Navy brass were right to be on guard for spies and saboteurs because there were so many Japanese Americans living here. But why had I assumed that these people would be spies? I gasped to myself. I had done to every Japanese American in Hawaii exactly what Mrs. Summers had warned Stanley would happen. I judged them based only on what they looked like and where their ancestors were from. Stanley's mom grabbed his arm, making him jump. You've grown up in a bubble here in Hawaii, Stanley, she said, her face twisted in anguish. It was so perfect, and I loved that for you. But it's over now, and you don't know how it is everywhere else, how it will be here after all of this.